Thanks for joining us. We are Deplorable Rhetoric on WSTBR. Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. You can also reach us on Facebook at Deplorable Rhetoric, on Instagram, Deplorable_Rhetoric, and on Twitter, we rant the number 2 rate.
Good morning. Welcome to She's the Boss Radio Network, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Focus on topics that build, strengthen, inspire, as well as motivate men, women, and youth from the home to the conference room and around our community. I'm Sigourney.
I'm Ron.
And we're Deplorable Rhetoric. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to be part of the show, you can call in at 443-272-5922. You can also go to she'sthebossradio.com to check us out. You can tell Alexa or Siri to play She's the Boss Radio. And you can find She's the Boss Radio on Facebook, She's the Boss Radio on Twitter, WSTBRN on IG, and WSTBR on Twitch and Tumblr. Okay. So we are going to start, of course, with COVID stuff. And this is from the news channel, Nebraska River Country. WT Channel 6. So Nebraska medical doctor says the new Omicron variant is on its way to the Midwest. Public health experts are concerned about a new variant of Omicron dubbed XBB.1.5. I believe this is the one that we talked about last week. But the variant is rapidly spreading across the U.S. thanks in part to a busy holiday, which, of course, the CDC says about 40% of COVID cases in the U.S. right now are caused by the new strain, having doubled in just a week. That's not good. Most cases are in the Northeast, but Dr. James Lawler with Nebraska Medicine says XB.1.5 is on its way to the Midwest. It is now the predominant variant circulating in much of the U.S. He said health experts say it's not clear where this version of Omicron came from or if it's more contagious than other strains. Lawler says the variant is able to escape immunity from prior infections and vaccinations. That's exactly what you want to hear. We are seeing much higher levels of hospitalization in areas where this particular variant, XBB.1.5, is taking off. Health experts say the new strain is resistant to many treatments doctors had relied on earlier in the pandemic. I mean, the treatments from earlier in the pandemic, obviously, those are going to be going extinct as the Omicron variant has gone from Delta to whatever to now to Omicron. So you guys are just gonna have to keep tweaking those vaccines and making it work. Lawler says people who are 65 or older and those who are not up to date with their shots are at higher risk, especially in folks who have not received a recent booster dose of COVID vaccine with the bivalent form or just haven't been vaccinated against COVID in a long period of time, he said. Lawler also recommends putting masks back on in public spaces and at large gatherings. I strongly encourage folks to use masks. We know they work. So, yeah.
Contradicting information, though, as far as the masks are concerned.
What do you mean?
Because some scientists say it works. Some say it doesn't really prevent anything.
Oh, I haven't seen any of those. Yeah, I mean, they work. The thing is, they work. It's just that obviously they're not 100%, and that's where people keep getting confused, I guess. Like I've gone over, at least at the time where it was like if you were indoors, outdoors, if you had a mask, if the other person didn't and you did, like all that stuff. And no matter what, you could still catch it. No matter, both of you guys are in a mask outside, you still have the potential to catch it. So the masks, just like the vaccine, are just supposed to help. So
preventative measures.
Yeah, so obviously it's not going to be 100%, but it works, just like the vaccine works. If you choose not to take it, that's on you. But yeah, I just don't get that. Like, it doesn't matter. The degree doesn't matter. It's just that it helps. So just you wear it. If you don't want to wear it, then just don't. But yeah, so there has not been much else with COVID that I've seen worth reporting on. So, just all fentanyl death. I knew that one. So, quickly though, I do want to talk about something that's coming next year. Some people are going to be excited about. So I saw um, an article that's about the marijuana law changes in Maryland. This is from WMAR2 News, Baltimore. Um, so, just so that people are aware, the new changes go fully into effect July, but there will be a transition period starting, I guess, now. Because the article just says between now and July, so I'm assuming like January 1st. There will be a trial period to see how, I guess to see how it goes. I don't know. Maryland voted to legalize the drug in November general election. Yes, we did. While the full legalization doesn't go into effect until July, the new year started a transitional period. It means if you're caught between now and July 1st with 1.5 ounces of marijuana, you will only get a civil offense with a maximum fine of up to $100. I'm sure there's plenty of people rejoicing right now. I think it's a good thing, said Jeremy Brown. Some, like Jeremy, feels the legalization of marijuana will lessen some of the safety concerns and feels this transition phase is the first big step in doing so. When you go into a lot of the corner stores, a lot of the guys kind of harass you with the marijuana. Yeah, not just marijuana, but Jeremy said if you go into a dispensary and grab it legally, I don't know what that word's supposed to be. I think Trey eliminates a lot of harassment and a lot of safety concerns. If you have between 1.5 and 2 ounces, you can get fined. You can get fined up to $250. More than that, it's a misdemeanor with up to 6 months in jail or a $1,000 fine. Others, like Janelle Brown, agrees with the change in criminal penalties for marijuana and says there are bigger issues for police to focus on. I think that most of the people that are being penalized for marijuana, they're not the ones who that they need to be looking for. Okay. They're not the ones that's probably taking some of these people out. Why the number is so high here? I think they should be focusing on the people who are doing other things than marijuana, said Janelle. In addition, someone who has been convicted of marijuana possession may ask the courts to expunge their sentence once they have completed it. Okay. Before 2023, that person had to wait 4 years. Jeez. All possession charges in the state have to be removed from court listings by July 1st, 2024. So, yeah. So that, doesn't speak to a whole lot of changes, but that's, some of the things that are coming down the line.
Yeah.
In their transitional period. So... weed smokers rejoice. Y'all won't get in as much trouble for smoking now, just a little bit. but it's interesting nonetheless.
I don't know.
There is one thing I also want to mention, just because I've watched so much stuff on it, so I just want to talk about it before we get into any of our other stories. But so I've been watching a lot of Hassan, as you know, and he has been. I've been focusing a lot for some reason on like the Andrew Tate stuff and other incel type of guys, because it's not a population I know much about. It's very interesting to say the least. But yeah, there's a guy. I think he's either Latvian or Swedish or something, but it's weird. It's like he's not as bad as Andrew Tate in his rhetoric, but some of the stuff he believes is weird. Like, he was saying that... He was saying that most women want, like, an hour-shaped glass. Like, bigger up top, bigger hips, whatever. Yeah, sure, I guess. But he says the way to achieve that... He said women don't have that shape because they didn't have kids at the correct point in time in their life. He stated... This crazy mofo stated that biologically, once you start menstruating, that's when you should have kids. For me, that was 13. There's no way in hell I was having a kid at 13. My cousin was 9. So, at any rate, he's saying, I guess, having the kid right up, because your body would bounce back and all this other stuff that he was trying to explain. But ladies, that's how you get your hour-shaped glass figure. That's how you do it. If you started menstruating at 12, go ahead and have that child.
Not exercising,
that would automatically
healthy.
give you the shape. Right. Not doing any of that other stuff. It was so bizarre because, yes, I get it that way back when yeah, you could probably marry a toddler. That's just how crazy the laws and stuff were back then. You know, give a dowry. Yeah, here's a 14-year-old girl. You can do whatever you
Here's a
want
bunch
to
of
her.
cows. Go marry
And
him.
right, in some parts of the world, it's still like that. But I understand that in most of the world, it seemed like way back when it was like that. But I would like to think that we've evolved a little bit from that.
You would
And not
think.
only that, being with a child is gross. It's disgusting. So there's also that aspect. So why would a grown man, and I don't know the ages of these men back then either, but you'd have to think that they were a little bit older, right? Because that's just how it was. So you're messing with, at the very least, an early 20-something-year-old man. And he's dealing
Falling
with
in
a
love with a
14.
13-year-old.
Yeah. Now, yeah, there could be a connection, like a friendly connection, but to sexualize that and to move further in that direction with that is definitely weird. Um, but yeah, that's what he was saying. He was saying have kids early after you menstruate. That's how you get your shape. I was like,
And this is what gets me every time is that how can a man tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body? Why are you going to sit here and you have no scientific background, but you're sitting here dictating things
suggestion.
Yeah,
He wasn't
but
dictating,
shut the fuck
but
up is basically
yeah.
what it is. Like, if you have an opinion on my body as a woman, please keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what people do. So, you know.
I say, okay, if that's the case, I say castrate a man.
I mean, you can. That's the point. Like,
But they don't. That's the point. They don't.
Yeah.
How
okay.
is it?
So you're not talking about him specifically anymore.
No. I'm
Okay,
saying
like,
about
that's not what he was
men
doing.
that all these Jeffrey Epstein people that are in his books that have dealt with him, anything.
Yeah,
Let's
that's not gonna
castrate
happen.
all of these people.
That won't happen.
Weinstein,
You know that.
everything that he did, they let him. Everybody knew. The whole Hollywood knew about it. Nobody said anything. I personally, man.
Yeah. It's a few tried, but when you're a woman,
I just don't want
they're
no
not gonna
man
listen to you.
to sit here that has no doctorate. They don't have nothing. You just mad because nobody's trying to play with your little wee wee. That
Yeah,
you want to
that-
sit
and
here
that could be
and
part of it.
dictate what women should and shouldn't do. No, even at
Yeah, 'cause
13, they probably don't
it's
want you
weird.
to touch them.
It's weird because he's like in the woods and people are, and apparently he stabbed 4 classmates. So it's like, because he even advocated like being alone and all this stuff. I mean, it was weird because he didn't seem weird. He seemed like just a normal guy talking. It was just
And
the
that's the
stuff coming
scary
out
part.
of his mouth. It was
But that's
like,
the scary part.
the hell?
He said the quiet parts out loud. The stuff that he's supposed to keep to himself.
But that's even the thing. Like the stuff that he was saying, like, yeah, you can advocate for being alone. There was nothing wrong with that.
that's
So
fine.
a lot of stuff he was saying wasn't even weird. Like that was to me, because I didn't see a bunch of stuff. I was just all I could see was what Hassan was showing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that the whole having a kid early and all that stuff, that was like the weirdest stuff that he said. Like, yeah, being alone is fine, depending on how you spin it. If you talk about like self-care and pampering yourself, like, yeah, that's fine. But because humans naturally are more social creatures, so to advocate being alone all the time, yeah, it's fine in doses. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that he was saying was just like out there. I was just like, oh, okay, I don't. But I happened to see this on Twitter, and I just wanted to mention it because we just got through speaking about it. But so for anybody who saw the football game last night, Damar Hamlin took a hit that was definitely pretty scary. But this doctor Khalid Al-Jabri, he is arrhythmia specialist. And he said, as an arrhythmia specialist, I believe the blow to his chest during a certain period in the cardiac cycle triggered ventricular fibrillation, a condition called commotio cordis. I could never be a doctor. It says it is not associated with pre-existing heart damage or COVID. So he may not have had a pre-existing condition. It just
Happened.
Yeah, just something that might have happened. But we, hopefully everything will be okay. It was definitely scary because I saw it, but we have to go to break. We will be right back.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Jenny James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time, and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service, so you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
Information is power. Learning from active professionals? That's priceless. Functional Training Zone. It's career awareness you can't get in the classroom. Become a trainer. Make a difference. Visit functionaltrainingzone.net.
Yeah, that's the sound of today's business community. It's a dog-eat-dog world and only the strong survive. The challenge is navigating the ever-changing business environment to put your business in the forefront. So how does your business keep up with the changes? That's where She's the Boss Network comes in. She's the Boss Network is an internet media network that's been helping businesses like yours get the exposure that you're looking for at reasonable cost by way of radio and video. They'll help you stay successful by navigating change and seeing the big picture. After She's the Boss Network analyzes your business and marketing strategies, you'll start to see a media presence like you've never seen in your business before. And She's the Boss Network doesn't stop there. They use their findings to create a practical plan of action, a plan that will get your business from where you are to where you need to be. There you go. Lock those dogs up for good by giving She's the Boss Network a call at 866-494-5945, extension 101, or by checking their website at she'sthebossradio.com. Again, that's 866-494-5945, extension 101, or she'sthebossradio.com.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Oh, right. So, just quickly, I wanted to, I mentioned the Latvian guy or European guy because I also wanted to talk about Andrew Tate. We don't typically talk about people in this capacity, but this guy is such a terrible, terrible person that I felt the need to talk about him and congratulate him on getting himself a little bit caught up and getting arrested. It's no more than him and his brother deserve for the human trafficking, for was it their laundering? Am I making that up?
No, they
but
said something about
also
money
rape.
laundering.
Yeah, so laundering, so all that stuff. He wanted to be in Romania because I guess has more relaxed laws around whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, he got himself kind of caught up. For one, just doing the stuff that he was doing, period. Like, eventually you do get caught up. You can't, run with the Romanian mafia and have guns and all this money in your house and not expect to be looked at. And so all I can say is I'm glad that he's finally back in jail. And it looks like it's sticking this time. There's a 30-day hold for him and his brother. So hopefully they found some good stuff to keep them locked up because, like I said, it's no more than they deserve.
But the crazy
They
thing
suck.
and the sad thing is that they have this large following, and people are throwing conspiracy theories and why he's now getting caught because he speaks truth to power and
It's
this,
a
that, and the
cult.
third. I'm like,
a
God,
damn
you gotta
cult.
be dumb to join a cult.
And it's crazy because, like,
I said that.
it's like anything can sound good. Like I always go back to the 9/11 conspiracies. Yeah, some of them sounded real good, but are they true? Who the hell knows? Like, well, I don't know. I
But-
personally don't know because I don't know a lot.
Yeah, but the
I
thing
wouldn't
is
know.
like that. Every conspiracy is rooted in
In
some
some
truth.
truth.
So you can't say
mean,
when you look at it.
possibly, yeah.
When you look at it, you're like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
But
I know
see,
that.
I do believe that for back then, but now I think people are extra batshit crazy and will literally make like the whole pizza. I truly don't believe Democrats are drinking baby blood or whatever the hell it was. I don't believe that one.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, when it came to 9/11 one, some hit a little too hard, and I was like.
And it's a touchy
Is that a
subject. Just think how many
conspiracy theory?
people.
'Cause that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Look at how many people
Right.
have died. Please stop.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
triggering that. These people have gone through traumatic
Yeah.
experiences.
And to speak to that too, the brother of the football player I actually saw this morning. He's like, people, please stop retweet or posting my brother, like, because I'm sure it's triggering for him and the family. Like they don't want to keep seeing that over and over again, and I get it. Or even like the parents during Sandy Hook, like having to be dragged through that just because Alex Jones wanted to keep saying,
yeah.
like, so when you keep reintroducing stuff, that's triggering for people. Yeah. But
9/11, that leave that one alone.
yeah, 9/11 was just crazy. But that's the example I can always go back to. It's just the easier one.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But but at any rate, let's go to something that's not any better. So I'm gonna tie these two articles in. So the first one was about, unfortunately, the first homicide victim of 2023. It was a 17-year-old girl, Deasia Garrison. She was shot 3:30 in the morning, 700 block of North Glover Street. There was a bunch of bullets that ran through some homes and vehicles. One guy saying that a bullet went through his home and narrowly missed his wife, but Deasia was shot 3:30 on New Year's Day, 3:30 a.m. She was outside of a home. She was just standing outside of a row home. She later died at the hospital, but she is unfortunately the first victim. So even if it's the illusion of safety, it's really shattered, Garland said. And Garland is the guy, again, who said the bullet nearly missed his wife. My oldest daughter was the one who was really affected because she's in the same age range. It really messed with her safety. A woman who said she is the victim's godmother posted on Facebook, Deasia, the family favorite little mama. Baby girl, rest in peace. She also wrote, my heart is heavy, first day of 2023. My 17-year-old goddaughter, Deasia Garrison, was taken away from my family this morning. Another holiday I have to mourn. R.I.P. mama. So, and this is something that so many people in Baltimore have to deal with. It's absolutely insane. But not only that, they're still investigating the killing of a 7-year-old boy who was shot in the head Friday night by an 18-year-old who has been taken into custody. He was in connection with the shooting, is undergoing a psychiatric eval. Police have revealed few details about the crime, and department officials told WJZ on Monday that there's no updates. So he's an 18-year-old in the house with a gun and his brothers and sisters, and then unfortunately a tragedy happened. So again, not knowing details, it could have accidentally gone off. He could have execution style shot him, I don't know. But for a psychiatric eval, I'm having to think that it was done purposefully, or he was going through an episode. Robert told WJZ investigator Mike Helgren that he has been in touch with the victim's parents and his wife's church is working to help them. We've got these young people with these guns, and that's what's tearing up Baltimore. But what I really, wanted to tie this in with is, this is from CBS Baltimore. Baltimore's Mayor Scott touts public safety successes in 2022 and goals for 2023. So yeah, I saw this, I think, last night or this morning. But anyway, it goes on to say, on the first day of 2023, Mayor Brandon Scott touted some of the progress his administration made in improving public safety the previous year and his plans for addressing public safety issues in the year ahead. During 2022, Baltimore saw a 5% decrease in non-fatal shootings, which it considered to be a start in the right direction. 5% to me is not enough to say that we're going in it's a good start, because that could just be a deviation. I'm gonna turn into Mike Lindell right now. Deviations for anybody who might have seen that clip. It's funny because he's an idiot. But anyway, but those efforts fall short of where the Scott administration wants to go. He said. Scott said his office aims to produce a 10% decrease in non-fatal shootings in 2023. We have seen significant progress in our efforts to combat gun violence, with a 19% increase in gun arrests and the seizure of over 2,600 weapons, including 477 ghost guns, Scott said.
Yeah, get the police to stop giving these kids
right. Right, exactly. However, we recognize that policing alone will not solve the problem, so we are focused on addressing the underlying causes that contribute to violence in our communities. Okay, y'all keep saying that. But what are you doing? You keep talking about working with like Safe Streets and other community organizations. Okay, cool. But for one, Safe Streets has lost 2 or 3 people now.
Hold up. Can I stop you right there with exactly what you just said?
Yeah.
Because Safe Streets, some of their members and
Exactly.
mentors that are out there are still in the game.
Yeah.
So
And
how
one's already been reported on. So
and that's my whole thing is that you keep grabbing your homeboys to mentor these kids. You know?
I remember Pookie from back in the day. He
Right.
can
That's
do it.
Ray Ray. Ray Ray can do it. He's been through a whole bunch of stuff.
Go get TT.
Right. Shaniqua, come on, girl. Let's get it in. Let's teach these kids how to be better criminals. Because you're not doing anything. Brandon, I had such great expectations for you.
Yeah, young black mayor coming in, something a
Who's
little
lived.
different.
Yeah,
because he's
who's
younger. Not the
right.
black part.
No,
but-
not even that. It's just that you've lived in this community. You know the struggles. You the high school you graduated from just had a child murdered on school grounds. I haven't heard you say a word after that one statement you did.
Yeah, I was gonna say he
that
probably
was it.
spoke at the school or something.
Yeah, he did. And after that, it was just like crickets. Like, come the hell on.
Yeah.
That's the school my son graduated from,
Right.
and my ex graduated from. Like, come. That's
Yeah,
to me,
and
it's
Colby.
stupid. You cannot sit there and say these numbers like, okay, 19% more increase in arrests, gun arrests, and taking these ghost guns off the streets or whatever. Now, me, my first response to that is make sure the cops check the evidence.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to me that you take the guns off the street, you put them in the police custody. It's held until trial, right? After the trial is over, you take the guns and destroy them. But
Yeah,
yet these guns
allegedly.
kind of wiggle through back into communities. That in itself, I say clean house, including with you.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about city council? Get rid of all of them. Start fresh. We
Right.
need new blood, and I believe all these young people that have these great ideas for the city need to be put in positions, not just given this position, but I need them to work towards something. Because you sitting there in your spot trying to come up with plans to build a better Baltimore. You need assistance from other people that are thinking the same way but are afraid to say it out loud because Baltimore is Baltimore. People are going to shoot you down every time. Not literally shoot you down, but just
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think there has to be a point where you say, okay, what's been tried is not working. You know,
and
tried and true isn't working right now.
even with Ivan Bates, that triggered me is that, and I met him a couple years back with Sheila Dixon, and he made sense. I was like, okay, cool, I'll vote for you, based on in hopes that the other person isn't that great. If I don't like their, stance, I'd vote for you. Then when he came 2022, I'm gonna say this year, and he started talking about I'm going to be aggressive with. Been there, done that, didn't change a damn thing.
Right.
You snatching up all these keys because these police officers are literally avoiding arresting the right people.
Yeah. I mean, they got their little hidden agendas.
Yeah.
But we have to go to break. We will be right back.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Beauty is in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not as how others see you. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the Boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the Boss Cosmetics and Skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate a power glow that flows from the inside out. Exude an assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.shes-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
Bored with the traditional wedding, birthday, or special occasion celebrations? Do you feel like you just don't want all of the pressure of coordinating your own event? Do your friends all seem to become professional event planners for your memorable moments? Are you thinking of getting engaged and want a romantic way of doing it? Let us design it for you. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Let our photographers help you to make a statement. Want to make an impression with a beautiful arrangement? Speak with our floral designers. Zeal Enterprises, an all-inclusive event management company that provides complete consulting and coordinating services for weddings, anniversaries, reunions, theme and birthday parties, festivals, conventions, and conferences. Our team of professionals are excited to work with you. Call today, 866-494-5945, or go online to www.zealbnr.com to begin designing your event. Remember, in everything you do, do it with zeal.
Information is power. Learning from active professionals? That's priceless. Functional Training Zone. It's career awareness you can't get in the classroom. Become a trainer. Make a difference. Visit functionaltrainingzone.net.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the
So
boss.
just quickly finishing up this
Radio
CBS article. So Scott said the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, known as MONSE, has been providing people with the resources they need to choose a better path. Through our Group Violence Reduction Strategy, or GVRS, pilot program, we have been in contact with more than 100 individuals and connected 71 participants to services such as life coaching, employment, and housing, he said. He also said his administration has been holding those people who engage in violent behavior accountable for their actions. We have balanced this approach with enforcement actions taken against 60 group involved suspects that were arrested by BPD's Group Violence Unit, he said. These efforts contributed to a 34% decrease in homicides and non-fatal shootings in the Western District. We are expecting to carry this momentum into the Southwestern District as the program expands to that area in 2023. Now, there was another article, and this one's from the yesterday from the AP, Associated Press. Baltimore homicides stubbornly high despite new initiatives. So Jaleel George was checking on his Baltimore investment property earlier this month when a gunman mistook him for someone else and opened fire. The young real estate investment and recent college graduate spent his final moments outside a partially renovated brick row house that symbolized his positive vision for the future of Baltimore, loved ones said. Yeah, and this is the sad stuff that just keeps happening. When I brought this article up to Moran, I mentioned to her again about in New York, there's a 15-year-old that a couple gang members mistook for someone else, and with the machete cut his throat or cut his head off or whatever, dragged him out of the store, and you can see that in the footage, them dragging this kid out of the store, and it was all mistaken identity. They were going after someone else, and so they ended up killing a 15-year-old. And so this is not something that probably happens like a super ton, but it's enough. You know what I'm saying? It's enough that it needs to stop, because these people, like, I can only imagine how that kid felt. Mm-hmm. Like being dragged out of that store, probably trying to tell these people like you have the wrong guy, and they just don't even care. They're just like, whatever. Police called the afternoon homicide an apparent case of mistaken identity. They believe George was targeted because of his car. A similar model was involved in an earlier shooting nearby. In the 24 hours surrounding his death, 3 other men were fatally shot within a roughly 1 mile radius in the Park Heights area of Northwest Baltimore. And Brandon, that's your area, so come on now. The recent spat, whatever, of killings has reignited longstanding frustration and familiar debate amid another year of rampant gun violence. The city's homicide count surpassed 300 for the 8th year running as violence remains stubbornly high despite repeated promises from city officials and new anti-violence initiatives. So again, Baltimore, Brandon sitting here saying that certain things are getting better. In my opinion, too early to tell. And of course, you want to run with any good news in a place like Baltimore because a lot of it, when it comes to violence, is so bad. Or safety, I should say, is so bad. So you want to run with any good news, but no. Baltimore City done became a graveyard. Memorials on every corner, said longtime Park Heights resident Carl McDonald, who joined a recent anti-violence march in the neighborhood. So, though they expressed a collective commitment to saving lives, community members presented a spectrum of ideas about how to address the intractable problem. Some say citizens should help spark cultural change, while others criticize elected leaders for repeatedly failing to quell the violence, which remains heavily concentrated in areas most affected by poverty, racism, and prolonged disinvestment. And that obviously is a big issue. You can't neglect these neighborhoods. I mean, and just think back to Katrina. So I've seen a few news, clippings on this, but Katrina, like, it left an amusement park abandoned, left, the place just worse off than it was. And even all these years later, when they showed that amusement park, I mean, man, you could use it in a horror film because it looked like the perfect setup. It's like abandoned and all this machinery around, just like a creepy, like, circus type of movie. But that's how it looked. It just looked left.
But that's one thing I've noticed about our community, our country, is that as long as people are watching, you're going to do something. When people are distracted and looking at everywhere else but where they need to, that's when shit just gets left off. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and it's annoying as hell. All right, George Floyd was killed, and we wanted to do something for the Mike Browns and what's the Falad? What's his name? Jeez, I don't want to.
There's Tamir Rice. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Trayvon Martin.
So all these things that are happening, and as soon as you get distracted and you're not paying attention to the people that are collecting money for this program and that program, the money gets laundered into other things. We're disgusted and appalled when we find out what happened. See, what happened was the money was supposed to go here, but didn't. It went to buying my $6 million house. It just makes no sense to me, and it's unfortunate, but that's who we are. We take our eye off the ball and people run the opposite direction every time. And back to Brandon Scott. So, on December the 14th, I made a phone call to the mayor's office. It was, we had an incident in the office, and I called to see if we can get some kind of assistance for these kids that we work with. So I called. The young lady gave me a number to call within the mayor's office that could assist me. It is now January, the 3rd, the 2nd? And I have not gotten a return call yet. I called both Jackson Constituent Services and another number, which I can't remember what the lady does. But I called for assistance about some kids that were having some kind of difficulties. And nobody has called me back yet.
Right.
So you're touting these numbers of, decrease in non-fatal crime and and all this stuff. And to me, I'm already over it. Yeah. I would love to come to one of your impromptu little speeches, because as soon as you finish talking, I'm going to jump in and say some stuff. You have all these so-called programs out there, but then I made a phone call.
Right.
It was 2 different phone calls, and nobody has responded to me.
I mean, and the thing is, I'm not surprised though.
Oh,
I
I'm
mean, it
not
shouldn't
either.
be that way, definitely. But they don't. I mean, for one, even if they pushed you off to something else, it's like, damn, you could at least respond and give me something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just had an incident here, and yeah, it's just something that should be addressed. Um, this article also goes on to say that others called on their peers to assume a more active role in the anti-violence efforts. We want to speculate, but now is the time for participation, said local activist Elijah Miles. If you really care about what's happening in these streets, get out and work in them because our people are dying each and every day. At another recent demonstration in Park Heights, about 50 people marched through the streets chanting into a megaphone, "One life is one too many." A sprawling community that encompasses about a dozen neighborhoods in Northwest Baltimore. Park Heights once boasted a thriving economy and picturesque tree-lined streets surrounding the historic Pimlico Racecourse. But white flight and other factors led to increased rates of poverty, violence, and economic decline. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott grew up in the neighborhood or in the community, has spoken about experiencing the Preakness when tourists poured into the struggling corner of Baltimore for one of the biggest annual horse racing events. About 6 months after Scott took office in December 2020, he released a 5-year comprehensive plan to reduce Baltimore's gun violence by 15% annually. Baltimore has recorded 322 homicides in 22, roughly the same number as last year. The city experienced its highest count on record in 1993 with 353. Detectives solved less than 40% of homicide cases in 2022. I'll be the first person to admit we are not where we need to be, Scott said at a Wednesday news conference addressing the numbers. It is clear that we are moving forward, but this has just begun. So yeah, actually, I think some of this I've already gone over, but yeah, I mean, at any rate, you know, Brandon can talk about all the good and wonderful things supposedly that are happening, but when it comes down to it, I mean, I hate to say it, but the numbers are kind of speaking for themselves at this point. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping to change whatever it is that he's planning. I hope I hope it's one of those like delayed reaction type of things where it's like it's got to kick in. But come on, you came in, when was it? In 2022, whatever month you came in. So, you've been here a while now. And so some changes would be nice. The 5% change here, 19% decrease there. That's all good. But we still had, let's say, 322 murders in Baltimore last year. So, we're still looking at high numbers. It still reached over 300. And so that is a problem. That is definitely a problem. Yeah, 322 in 2022. So,
I don't know what we're going to do with Baltimore, but
yeah.
I still say that we need to do the youth works of taking applications now, but it only goes up to 21.
Yeah, and there's a lot of 20-something-year-old men that need to be working. And,
Yeah, but my thing is that if you get, and I've said this so many times, I get tired of saying it, but you have these corporations that have warehouses here in Baltimore city limits and in the state of Maryland that are getting tax breaks for having their large facilities here, but nobody's holding them to account. If we're going to give you a tax break, that means that at some point you have to hire X amount of our kids or our people. Like, what is it, Ponca Street, when the Amazon warehouse collapsed, killing somebody? They let go a whole lot of people. There's one in Sparrows Point. Like, it's so many daggone Amazon facilities.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do something. You can't just get a tax break just because you're here. This is a privilege for you to be here and take our space. Now you got to hire Youth Works, Johns Hopkins, what's the other place? The casinos. Yes, maybe not working in the casinos, but they could work in the hotel, in the ground, something. The racetrack, hire these kids to go ahead and clean after the Preakness. Do something, put these kids to work. Because the only reason these kids will give you for them being outside is they need the money.
Yeah.
So you're willing to risk your life on the corner to make money, whereas though we can give you a safe way to make money. But Baltimore City has taken away a whole lot of that. And YouthWorks, although they take applications for you to have a summer job, high school kids, anybody with a work permit, the problem is after they take these applications and they assign them to their workstations, there's a lot, thousands of other kids that are not available. I mean, they're not allowed to.
Sorry to have to cut you off, but we do have to go to break. We'll be right back.
You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? She's the boss. Radio Network.
Beauty's in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not as how others see you. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the Boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the Boss Cosmetics and Skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate a power glow that flows from the inside out. Exude an assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.shes-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
Hey, I'm Jenny James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time, and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service, so you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Okay, so very quickly before I give it back to Moran so she can continue her thought, I just happened across this and I thought it was funny. And I did see this earlier too, but Elon Musk, let's just talk about him for 2 seconds. So Elon Musk is the first person in history to lose $200 billion. Let that sink in. And then it's got a picture of him with the sink that he carried into the Twitter headquarters, I think that first day. But I think that's just wonderful to see. I'm glad that he lost $200 billion. But anyway, I'll throw it back to Moran so she can continue talking about Baltimore City and how Brandon ain't doing nothing. So,
No, my whole thing is like I speak on my experiences with certain aspects of Baltimore City government.
Right.
And the lack of continuity in service. You can't say we want to teach our kids this, that, and the third. We want to lower crime. We want to do this. And then you put on blast and nothing happens.
Yeah.
We Own This City came out how long ago? All the GTTF people were arrested and sentenced. And I haven't heard a peep. But yet, you guys are funded. Overfunded. I hear gunshots all the time. I don't hear one police officer.
And to your point too, watching YouTube yesterday, oh my God, where did the person say he was? Why is Seattle? I don't know. I think it's somewhere northwest. But yeah, like they would call the cop, call dispatch, and dispatch is just kind of like, "Oh, we're understaffed. We can't help you." And it's like, we know that you're not.
Right.
No precinct really is. Y'all are getting way too much money. So it's like you don't want to come out and help, talking about being understaffed. It's like, no, I know you can help me. You're just choosing not to. But yeah, I mean, that's that's how
Well,
it
it's
is.
the
They
same thing
just
here in Baltimore.
yeah.
They're saying they don't have the money to implement certain things, but we know you were overfunded. This is Freedom of Information Act allows you to get all this information. So at this point, what I suggest is everybody go ask for the numbers. Find out where the funding for Baltimore City is going as a whole, not specifically BPD. Just
Yeah.
ask when the federal government handed us our little paychecks for this year, find out where the money went. Because what I've noticed is that money comes in the city, and then Wes Moore, when he was on the Daily Show with Trevor, he was like, "We have a surplus."
Right.
I'm sitting there like,
Well, I was
"Hold up,
like-
what?" I was confused. Even my son was confused. He was like, "We have a surplus. I thought we were in debt. We couldn't do schools are closed right now. Digital Harbor is closed due to flooding, so they're doing repairs."
Yeah, I saw one. I think it said heat or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was
Douglas.
like too hot or something.
Douglas is closed. Digital Harbor and some other schools are closed for repairs.
Always
If you would
repairing
have fixed it
something.
right the first time, back in 2015, when they said we didn't have air and we didn't have heating,
Yeah.
an ex-NFL player that's a teacher now, he posted it and it
Old
happened.
Ravens player. Yeah.
All this money that was supposed to come to Baltimore City School disappeared. My son was in school at that time. I know for a fact that money didn't reach Baltimore City Public Schools.
Sorry, Twitter is crazy. So, Edward Norton is his 12th great grandmother is Pocahontas. But anyway, yeah. So in like I saw earlier, police killings in 2022 was a record. 1,176 people were killed by police nationwide. 3.2 killings per day. And I'll give it to them. They might be understaffed a bit, but still, you guys have the money to hire new people. Now whether people want to work for you is one thing, but
it's
you
funny
guys-
how people stopped wanting to be police officers when citizens started recording them.
Right. But and then yes, and then you're left with these what's the phrase? Trigger happy
Yeah.
type of people who have that mentality, who shoot first and ask questions later, and that's why they're getting caught up. Now some of them aren't getting caught up enough to the point where they go to jail. But again, in
they have
Tatiana's
microaggressions.
Tatiana's case, that's how Tatiana, her case. I mean, yes, he got 11 years as he should have, because you just shoot through a window
But
and
why?
don't say anything. You
Why
don't see
just
that she has a gun.
Why just 11 years is my question to that. It's like, okay, 11 years and you just murdered
Well,
somebody.
I don't understand
I
all
know
that
there's
anyway.
not going to be
There's-
premeditation or
There's
anything.
people that do more egregious shit and get less. So I don't understand the way that works either. But at this point, we just have to be happy you got something, because majority of the cases they don't.
Yeah.
You know, these cops get away with everything, and it's just so sad. And I
And if
really
it's
need to look into that Ronald Green case, because if any cops need to go to jail, it's them.
Yeah.
That was just so sad to watch that video. That was really just heartbreaking, because that man was scared the whole time they were slowly killing him.
And,
But,
and one last thing is that when the city is sued due to the negligence of a police officer, that money should not come out of taxpayers'
No.
pockets.
I shouldn't have to pay for nothing.
Yeah, I didn't commit the crime.
Right.
So why am I paying? Why is my little change?
Or even condoning it, maybe.
Right. I'm
depending on the
against
crime.
it. I'm protesting against it. Why am I still paying for something that I'm against?
Right. But I can't protest by not paying taxes because then I get locked up.
Right.
I
But
just
yet
want to
you're
keep my
using
money.
my tax dollars to pay off people who have been violently violated by you. So
Yeah.
you should feel it. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better word, I want the police officer that committed these crimes to feel it. not just by going to jail, but by paying to the money to these families, to the victim personally. There should not be a fund where you take taxpayer dollars to use. That shouldn't be the case. That needs
Yeah,
to change.
I agree.
That law, the fraternal order police. Oh, I hate them.
Yeah, y'all need to pay.
I hate them
Pay
so
for
much
everything.
because they know these police officers. Not all of them. They know these police officers ain't shit, but yet they want to go ahead
Yeah.
and that's why I'm kind of glad that the feds are coming into this. I really am glad the feds have decided or have been asked to be involved in Baltimore City shenanigans.
Well, hopefully they do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Because, they've been slipping.
Yeah,
It's
they
like-
have.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the sad part. You want to bring in a group to hold somebody accountable, but who's gonna hold y'all
Them
accountable?
accountable, right?
At some point, like,
And it's
can't-
funny because last night they were like, somebody said, just having a personal conversation with me, they were like, it's crazy. This ain't the same country that we served. Politically, it's not the same country. Financially, it's not the same country.
Yeah.
The way the globe sees us, the world sees us, it's not the same country anymore. And I'm sad.
So this is about Ivan Bates, Justin Fenton, really quick. So I saw this, and because you brought him up earlier, I did because I don't know if it's getting into something he's done that he shouldn't have. But it's like a whole thread by Justin Fenton. But anyway, it says amid a week of inauguration events, Ivan Bates is directing donations to something called Building Bridges for a Better Baltimore nonprofit started in late October with a Bel Air, Maryland mailing address. What is it? On Bates' site, it's described as a 501c4 organized to promote social welfare, including but not limited to providing financial support to organizations in Baltimore City that serve our residents in need. And it says it works with Meals on Wheels, YMCA, among others. The nonprofit's board has 4 directors, including Bates' father and Shantae Eldridge, who was a key part of Bates' transition team. It's been common for top officials to set up nonprofits to pay for inauguration events, but there appears to be no requirement for such organizations to disclose their donors. Will Bates disclose his? Here's what he told Dylan, whatever. It was not immediately clear whether the foundation is required to disclose its donors. Bates did not commit to releasing that information. I follow the law. I don't make the law. He said, I follow it and enforce the law. In 2007, then Mayor Sheila Dixon disclosed her inauguration donations showing unions and contractors who did business with the cities gave 5 figures. Mayor Pugh didn't disclose hers, and it later came out UMMS, part of Holy Hobby scandal, gave 20 grand to her. A Bates spokesman said the nonprofit will disclose to operate during its tenure beyond putting on inauguration events. Gotta say, it's pretty. Oh, that's something else, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's so, yeah, I guess it's made to seem kind of crazy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the.
But his father being on the board,
Yeah.
that's not good. That's not
He's got
good at
4
all.
directors. And Eldridge, who's part of Bates' transition team.
It should be independent board members, not your people that you know.
Yeah. And Ilhan Omar did exactly what y'all been telling her to do. She said, they said, go back to where you came from. So I decided to take it literally. And I have to say, the 2 weeks in Somalia were incredible. Grateful for the hospitality. I'm rested and rejuvenated and ready to be sworn in tomorrow. So, boo.
There we go. Drop that mic,
Right.
girl.
Right. So,
Hold up. She went back to Somalia, and I'm thinking Somalia.
yep. She said,
Has
to hell with y'all.
anything-
I'm going back home.
Yeah, I would love to go back. I don't know about a month, but hey.
Oh God, George Santos. We haven't even touched on him. This dude lies worse than Trump. That's all I can say. But
All of
anyway,
them.
we have to go. It's almost 11 o'clock. But thank you for listening to the show, watching the show, all that stuff. This is She's a Boss Radio 24/7. You can find us on she'sabossradio.com. You can also listen in on TuneIn or Shoutcast. Tell Alexa or Siri to play She's a Boss Radio. Plus, we're on a bunch of other platforms as well. Just Google us. You can follow.
Of She's the Boss Radio Network.
Huh?
Thanks to the owner of She's the Boss Radio Network.
She's the Boss Radio on Facebook. She's the Boss Radio on Twitter. WSTBRN on IG and WSTBR on Twitch and Tumblr. You can find us, Deplorable Rhetoric, on Facebook, Deplorable_Rhetoric on Instagram, and We Rant 2 Rave, the number 2 on Twitter. We'll talk at y'all next Tuesday.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the